Hello, and a very big welcome to the Royal College of Psychiatrists Award Ceremony 2022. I'm Adrian James, I'm the president of the college, and I'm delighted to welcome all of you, our winners, those who are runners-up, friends, family, presenters to this ceremony. And I know that we all wish that we could be here together at the college, but the online event won't dampen our enthusiasm whilst we celebrate all the fantastic achievements of all our winners and all of those who have entered, and of mental health generally. And you'll see that there is an awful lot to celebrate, and it's important that we do. Now, as we're online, it doesn't mean we can't be on message from a fashion point of view. As you can see, I've got my ceremony jacket on, and I know that people like to turn out and really celebrate. So thank you to all of you. So let's start. So we'll start the award ceremony with our first award, which is for the PsychSoc of the Year. Now, this recognises the pivotal role that psychiatric societies at medical schools play in raising the profile of psychiatry. And in this category, the judges were looking for a society that's embodied the themes of Choose Psychiatry, has shown effective leadership and teamwork, and providing an exciting and varied programme of activities. I'd like to thank all our PsychSocs. I've visited many of them, and they do fantastic work. So to present the award, I'm absolutely delighted to welcome Dr. Declan Hyland, a member of the RCPsych Undergraduate Education Forum. Declan, over to you.
Thank you, Adrian, and I'm absolutely delighted and honoured to be able to present this award. I think the PsychSocs form a really important role in terms of shaping the attitudes that our undergraduates have about psychiatry. And I think they do some fantastic work, and they've come an awful long way. And obviously one of the things we're really keen for is that all UK medical schools have a PsychSoc, and that each PsychSoc is very active. And as a college, we're keen to support them as much as we can so that they can continue to do the fantastic work that they do. I've been very fortunate to be involved in judging this category for the last couple of years, and I think the standard goes up year on year. So this year was certainly no exception. So I'm very pleased to announce the shortlisted nominees for the RCPsych PsychSoc of the Year Award. And the shortlisted nominees are Cambridge University Psychiatry Society, Heducate, King's College London Psychiatry Society, and LivePsych. And I'm delighted to announce the winner, and the winner is Heducate, which is the PsychSoc for the University of East Anglia, I believe. Hopefully we have someone available from Heducate to accept this award.
So Heducate, University of East Anglia, ran in-person mental health awareness outreach workshops with young people. During and post-lockdown, they developed online workshops to still reach children, reaching 1,300 secondary school students all over the UK. Heducate's events include a psychiatry virtual conference and psychiatrist talks, and have reached hundreds throughout the world. And Heducate have won several national awards for their work already, and made splashes on over 5 radio programmes in a year, and have worked with celebrities, including our very own Stephen Fry, to advocate for mental health. The judges said Heducate has a goal to innovate and improve. In December 2021, they achieved official Charity Commission registration and have collaborated on a variety of projects and campaigns, including fundraising of £2,500 for 10 different charities. Their social media reach has also continued to grow both nationally and internationally, and they've engaged with students through workshops, social events, and the Norwich Online Wellbeing Weekend, which was a 2-day conference showcasing psychiatry, which also included a comedy fundraising event. Absolutely incredible, all of that. And now, if the representative from Heducate could say a few words.
Thank you so much, Dr. James and Dr. Hyland. I'm Tori. I was president of Heducate UEA from 2019 until just recently in 2022. And it's just been incredible to see the growth and expansion and impact that Heducate has managed to have worldwide. As Dr. James mentioned, some of our events have reached all over the world, including Australia and America when everything went online due to COVID. And we've made such an impact with young people talking about mental health in schools. And as was mentioned, reached over 1,000 students during the biggest COVID lockdown year. And it's been amazing to see the incredible projects that we've managed to achieve. And I just wanted to thank the psychiatrist, Dr. Julian Beeshold, who has supported us since Heducate was even founded about 10 years ago now, and has made so many of the things that we've done possible. And it's amazing to see how Heducate has also inspired new Heducate branches to be created all over the UK. And now we have, as was mentioned, our charitable national status, which aims to try and support mental health awareness societies and psychiatry societies across the UK. And so thank you so much. And I hope that everyone enjoys the rest of the award ceremony.
Thank you so much, Tori, and thank you to the whole of your team. I mean, why wouldn't anybody want to choose psychiatry when you hear all of that? So before you go, we'd like to pause for a screenshot photo together. So we'll just pause for 5 seconds while the screenshot is taken. Okay, I think we can now move on to our next award. And I should have remembered I'm behind the times regarding fashion, because Declan has just demonstrated that scrubs are the new black tie. What was I thinking? Anyway, there's always next year. So our next award is for the Foundation Doctor of the Year. And in this category, the judges were looking for a foundation doctor who has an interest in psychiatry and has demonstrated an exceptional level of performance as an innovator, scholar, searcher, clinician, or educator. Now, this year, there was only one nomination which perfectly matched the exacting criteria of this category. And to present the award, I'm absolutely delighted to welcome our College Treasurer, Professor John Crichton. John, over to you.
Thank you, Adrian, and greetings from a sunny Scotland. I think I'm one of several presenters from Scotland today, and it's great to be here. And such an important category. The foundation doctors in psychiatry are very much the future of our profession. They are the psychiatrists of the future, and they form such an important part to our college community. And I'm especially pleased to present this award this year, as my daughter is a foundation year doctor in psychiatry working in Forth Valley, just a few miles down the road. So as Adrian said, there was one eligible entry to the really very high criteria for this award, and I'm delighted to introduce the winner, Dr. Chung Mung Alice Lin.
So Dr. Chung Mun Alice Lin is an academic foundation doctor working at Newcastle Hospitals and the Translational and Clinical Research Institute. She spent 4 months of foundation 1 year working in forensic psychiatry, during which time she partook in undergraduate clinical and simulation teaching, led multiple audit projects, and developed information leaflets translating sections of the Mental Health Act into layman's terms for her patient cohorts. The judges said that Dr. Lin is an outstanding trainee with advanced clinical skills and knowledge beyond the foundation level. She's published multiple academic papers already at an early stage in her career and presented at the Forensic Faculty Conference. She also finds time to teach and inspire medical students, organising local and national mock interviews to support them in their academic aspirations. She's a very well-deserving recipient of this award, and we look forward to her joining us as a colleague in psychiatry. Welcome, Dr. Lin. So over to you, Dr. Lin. We'd love to hear your acceptance speech.
Thank you very much. I just want to say it's a huge honour to have even been nominated and shortlisted for this award. I'd like to thank my family, friends and partner William for their ongoing support, but especially a massive thank you to my supervisor last year, Dr. Neeti Sud. She's a forensic psychiatrist working at the CNTW Trust, and without her, I wouldn't be here for this award. She's provided ongoing support over the last 2 years and deserves full recognition for all of our efforts. And I just want to thank you very much for having me today, and I hope look forward to the rest of the conference.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Lynn. And before you go, we'd like to pause for a screenshot photo together. So we'll just pause in a moment for 5 seconds. Okay, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Move on to our next award, which is for Core Psychiatric Trainee of the Year. Now here, the judges were looking for exceptional achievement in clinical performance and practice, well above that expected at this grade. And I'm delighted to welcome our registrar, Dr. Trudy Semivaratna, to present the award. Trudy, over to you.
Thank you so much, Adrian. I'm absolutely delighted to be announcing the shortlist very shortly. But before then, just to say a few seconds ahead of that, the core training program is the definitive and gateway entry into a lifelong career in psychiatry, both into senior training and beyond, of course. There's a rich process of acquiring a range of competencies in a range of psychiatric disorders, their treatments, a range of assessments and therapeutic approaches. Core trainees are the bedrock of our psychiatric services and often doing all of the on-call and the hard work at the front door. And of course, deciding which specialty they want to go into, from cradle to grave areas of specialisms, being educators, as well as acquiring those skills of lifelong learning, going through the RCPsych process and the RCP process, and hopefully also making lifelong friends. So I'm delighted to announce the outstanding nominees for Core Trainee of the Year, who are Dr. Aisha Rais, Dr. Jessica Scott, Dr. Maxime Tarkay, and Dr. Gavin Tucker. And the winner is Dr. Maxime Tarkay.
A very worthy winner. Just listen to this. Dr. Maxime Tarkay is an academic clinical fellow with Oxford Health and the University of Oxford. Prior to studying medicine, he was a research fellow at Harvard Medical School, where he developed brain imaging techniques. His research focuses on the use of large data sets, including electronic health records, brain imaging, and mobile phone data, to try and understand the complexity of mental illness. The judges said that Dr. Tarkay's achievements have been exceptional in all the award criteria areas. As a researcher, he published 7 high-impact first author papers. As a professional, he innovated in electronic health records data analysis. As a clinician, he's been praised by senior colleagues for his exceptional knowledge and outstanding skills. As an educator, Max received excellent feedback for his contributions, including as an academic tutor, research supervisor, PhD advisor, and tutor for graduates. And as a leader, Max secured £380,000 in charitable funding, becoming a principal investigator on a project to understand post-COVID brain fog. Last but not least, as a person, despite these many achievements, Max remains a remarkably personal individual, down to earth, and a pleasure to work with. Not bad, eh? So, Maxi, over to you to say a few words.
Well, thank you very much. I'm really honored to have received this award, not least in light of the other nominees' impressive achievements. I would like to thank the college, as well as all those who are helping me becoming an academic psychiatrist, starting with Professor Paul Harrison, my closest collaborator and mentor, for his incredible support, as well as our rich discussions. I also want to thank my clinical supervisors last year, Tom Badgerek and Olga Tsatalu, as well as the Department of Psychiatry, Oxford Health BRC, and the Oxford Health Foundation Trust, and all those who are involved in making this place such a unique place where kindness and excellence coexist. And finally, I'd like to thank my family for their support, my wife, my 2 children, my mom and my 2 sisters. I think the pandemic has epitomized that there cannot be health without mental health, and how the complexity of mental illness calls for collaborations across disciplines. And I feel privileged to work in a specialty in an environment where colleagues tackle those challenges on a daily basis. And I look forward to completing my training and to meet many more inspiring people along the way. So thank you very much.
Well, Maxime, thank you for those very wise words, as you say, no health without good mental health. And in your aspirations to be an academic psychiatrist, I think you might just make it. That will be my prediction, but there we go. So before you go, let's pause for just 5 seconds for a screenshot photo together. Okay, thanks very much indeed. So our next award is for the Higher Psychiatric Trainee of the Year. And once again, the judges were looking for evidence of skill as an innovator, scholar, researcher, clinician, educator, and leader. And to present this award, we welcome Dr. Helen Bruce, the college's Specialist Advisor for Credentialing. Helen, over to you.
Thank you very much, Adrian, and good afternoon, everybody. It gives me great pleasure to present this award for the Higher Psychiatric Trainee of the Year. Our higher trainees play a huge role in the delivery of our services and are a very important part not only of the future of our services, but also of our specialty. So I'd like to take the opportunity to say a big thank you to all our higher trainees, but to particularly congratulate our 4 shortlisted higher trainees, who are Dr. Catherine Beck, Dr. Ahmed Hanka, Dr. David Mongan, and Dr. Rachel Winter. And the winner of the RCPsych Higher Psychiatric Trainee of the Year 2022 is Dr. Rachel Winter.
Well, thanks, Helen. And again, an incredible CV that I'm just about to read out, and a fantastic shortlist of candidates as well. So Dr. Rachel Winter completed her training earlier this year and now works as an old age psychiatry consultant and associate professor in medical education at the newly established Centre for Excellence in Empathic Healthcare in Leicester. She's particularly interested in the benefits of clinical empathy, widening participation to medicine and recruitment into psychiatry, and also the mental health and well-being of students and trainees. And the judges said that Dr. Rachel Winter has an excellent entry to this award in a very competitive field. The judges particularly noted that Dr. Winter has excelled in academic and clinical training and passes on her passion and enthusiasm for the specialty to the next generation of psychiatrists through an innovative recruitment program and working across undergraduate and postgraduate training, particularly with students from diverse backgrounds. She's provided outstanding clinical leadership to many professional groups during a challenging time and is highly valued by her hospital, by her patients, and by colleagues alike. Dr. Winter's role in the Centre for Excellence in Empathic Healthcare will be of lasting value to the experience of service users across healthcare, linking developments in education with research and ensuring a meaningful, empathy-focused clinical relationships are a key foundation of healthcare professionals. Dr. Winter has demonstrated excellence across all these areas, and it is clear that both service users and professionals have benefited tremendously from her dedication and enthusiasm. So Rachel, what a fantastic accolade for you and a really worthy winner. So congratulations, and over to you for a few words.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's a real honour to be nominated for this award, and to win is just amazing, particularly as I know that the competition was so stiff. And I'd like to just extend my congratulations to my peers, my higher trainee peers, who were also nominated, shortlisted for this award. I've been exceptionally lucky throughout my training to have amazing support from my many supervisors, particularly from my mentors, Dr. Anne Boyle and Professor Bob Norman, and my wonderful colleagues at Leicestershire Partnership Trust and Leicester Medical School, and of course my family and my friends, my husband Sam. I've really loved my time in training. I've had so many opportunities to really make a difference. In particular, as you mentioned, I'm really passionate about widening participation to medicine and promoting mental health careers. And with my project, Mental Medicine Calling, I've really been allowed to kind of demonstrate my enthusiasm here. It's a project that's been supported by Health Education England Midlands. So I want to thank them for their ongoing support. And I'd love to take this opportunity just to promote Medicine Calling a little bit more, to say we'd love to work more closely with the college, particularly with Dr. Lovett in her role as recruitment lead, to really get more trainees, more consultants out into schools, and to inspire young people to choose psychiatry. Thank you.
Adrian, you're muted.
Sorry, briefly muted, some would say a good thing, but good to hear you've got all the support there we can hear in the background. And one of the great things about these events is that you get to hear about some of the great things going on across the whole of the United Kingdom, across the whole of the world. And it sounds like you've got some really innovative things going on in Leicester. So they're great to hear about those. And yes, of course, we'd love to work closely with you as a college. So before you go, we'd like to briefly pause for a screenshot photo. So just a pause for a few seconds. Okay, thank you very much, Rachel, and congratulations again. Give our best wishes to the whole of the team you've got assembled there as well. Lovely to hear from them. So our next award is for Patient Contributor of the Year, and this recognises the important contribution that patients make to developing and improving mental health services. And the judges were looking for patients who have made a positive impact on mental health services by improving the perception of mental health issues, encouraging policy changes, and contributing to the training of mental health professionals. And who better to present this award? We welcome a patient representative from our College Council, Simon Rose. Simon, over to you.
Thanks, Adrian, and it's an absolute pleasure to be here. In fact, as I was thinking about the words in introduction to this, it's not just a pleasure to be here, it's a pleasure to have been involved in the judging process, because as I was reading through the nominations, I was just grinning, because each and every contributor is going to have made such a difference to the lives of the people that they come across and their communities. There were 3 people who were nominated to receive this award. So we have Craig Donohoe, we've got Catherine Grant, and we've got Raf Hamazia. And I'm delighted to be able to say that the winner of Patient Contributor of the Year is Raf Hamazia. Well done, Raf.
Welcome, Raf, and just going to say a few words about you. Congratulations. So Raf Hamazia is the Expert by Experience lead with Signet Healthcare, overseeing the organisation's co-production structures. Prior to this, Raf was an Expert by Experience with the CQC, where he participated in over 150 CQC inspections. He sat on the independent review of the Mental Health Act and has completed an MSc in Mental Health Recovery and Social Inclusion at the University of Herefordshire. The judges said it was inspiring to see the commitment that all nominees have shown, and the breadth of activity that people are involved in is absolutely fantastic. It was tough to score, but the judges were impressed by Raf's involvement in various national projects which have had a positive impact on services and on patients. So congratulations, Raf, and thank you so much for all you do. So over to you for a few words.
Oh, thank you so much. Firstly, I did not dress up today, as I think I was always going to be outdone by our esteemed Dr. James in any event, and I've seen in the past they can brush up quite well, so as demonstrated by the ceremony jacket today. Great honor and privilege to have received this award, particularly because I was nominated by our medical director, Dr. John Van Neerkerk, who is also the chair of the general faculty at the college. And it just means a lot to me, because being a former service user and coming from quite an anti-psychiatry background, an award because I felt like the MDT were my oppressors. After being discharged, it quickly became apparent that I can have more conducive relationships with clinicians based on co-production and a shared vision for safe and effective quality care. When I'm not shouting through a seclusion room door, and understand that psychiatrists are not machines, but are also very much human like the service user group. Despite the general anxiety and hiccups there's been across the sector around lived experience since its infancy, the college has remained steadfast in its commitment to collaborative care and co-production. It's just beautiful to be part of this growing agenda, and I would like to plug our QI and co-production event we are chairing tomorrow with the college as part of the co-production network. Please come along. We have an amazing lineup hearing from service users and leaders in QI like Dr. Amar Shah. I hope everyone enjoys the rest of the ceremony, and thank you all.
Thank you so much, and I'll take your compliment back to my my children. So brushes up quite well, actually. I'll definitely take that. So thank you so much. Before we pause for a photograph, I also wanted to say a big thank you to you, Simon, for the huge contribution you've made to providing the best possible care for patients, but also your contribution to the college as the service user representative on council, and of course sitting alongside Rachel Bannister as well. So thank you so much. So we will pause briefly for a screenshot photo. Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
So our next award is for the Psychiatric Communicator of the Year. And this award is for an individual or group of individuals that has championed understanding of mental health issues through media work, promotion or education in schools and in the community, or via social media. The judges were looking for someone who has challenged negative perceptions, conveyed mental health information in a creative and accessible way, and raised awareness of psychiatric issues in a positive manner. And to present the award, I'm absolutely delighted to welcome Professor Carmine Parianti, the winner of last year's Communicator of the Year award.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thanks, Adrian, for having me here. I'm truly excited and honored to present this award. I think that over the last couple of years, COVID has really taught us of the importance of having clear evidence-based communication about science and medicine directly to the public, and interfacing with the press and all the opportunity that we have to convey messages that are not only human and empathic, but also put forward the science. And I think as psychiatric communicator, the psychiatric communicator role is a particularly important one, because we can also talk on behalf of some of the people who are most vulnerable in our society. So I'm truly delighted to be here and to announce first the nominees and then the finalists. So the shortlisted candidates are Dr. Chloe Beale, Dr. John Golding, Dr. James Nelson, and Dr. Sachin Shah. And the winner is Dr. John Golding. Congratulations.
Welcome, John, and congratulations. I'm just going to say a few words about you, John, and your incredible contribution. So Dr. John Golding is a consultant child and adolescent psychiatrist at Great Ormond Street Hospital. He is the former head of department and joint training programme director. He's the RCPsych lead for parliamentary engagement. John was vice chair of the child and adolescent faculty from 2017 to 2021. He has a particular interest in public engagement around mental health issues and has been interviewed widely on both TV and radio. The judges were impressed with Dr. Golding's all-round gifts as a communicator. He is exemplary in his presentations in person, on radio and television, and in the print media too. His style and manner make his presentations accessible to the general public, including young people. And he has been influential in his role as the RCPsych lead for parliamentary engagement, never more important. So the range of subjects that he's tackled is impressive, and the judges came to the conclusion that Dr. Golding's contributions were of such a high quality, he deserved the award of RCPsych Communicator of the Year. Congratulations, John. Thanks for all you do, and over to you for your acceptance speech.
Thanks so much, Adrian, and thank you, Carmen. It's a real honour to get this award. Thank you to the Royal College of Psychiatrists. Thanks also to those who nominated me, Derek, Rory and Ahmed, you know who you are, and congratulations to the other finalists, Chloe, James and Sasha. And I think it was a strong field. And I think we all feel really passionately about issues related to mental health, communicating with the public about issues related to mental health and lobbying for improved services. Several years ago, I found myself in the Today programme studio early one morning, I think it was about 6:30 in the morning, being interviewed live by John Humphreys on behalf of the Royal College of Psychiatrists, and I had never done anything like it before. It was a real baptism of fire. But since then, I've enjoyed working with the media alongside many excellent colleagues from the Royal College of Psychiatrists. And as you said, it's quite a difficult time to be influencing the government with so many other political distractions recently, but mental health services, we know, are really stretched. We know they're under-resourced. We know they rely on dedicated NHS staff working above and beyond day in and day out. And we have a collective responsibility really to lobby on behalf of our patients and their families for improved services. And I'm just pleased to have played my part in arguing for these improvements. I think the core of psychiatry is about relationships, relationships between healthcare staff and between their patients and between one human being and between one human being and another. And communicating is about relating. And it's so central to the art and science of psychiatry, which I think is the most fascinating and rewarding of medical specialties. And I'm sure we all agree with that. So thanks again to the Royal College of Psychiatrists for this award. Thank you to my friends, thank you to colleagues at Great Ormond Street and beyond, and also to my family who've supported me. I really do appreciate it. Thank you.
John, thank you so much for that, and thanks for your contribution, and Carmine, yours too. And I think one of the things I'm most proud about is we have so many psychiatrists now who are willing to put themselves forward in front of the press, on television, on radio, and it's so important that we do. And if anybody outside watching wants to get involved, please do contact us. We're always after new talent to get our messages across, and it's very important that we do. So before we move on, we'll just pause for a screenshot photo. Well, thank you all. Thanks very much. Thank you, Carmine, and thank you, John. And just a reminder, I think Simon Wesley has reminded us to use the chat. Please do free to for your congratulations or comments on our winners, on our categories. So please do feel free. We very much welcome that. So let's move on to our next category, which is the Psychiatric Educator of the Year. So this award recognises excellence in the training of trainee psychiatrists, medical undergraduates or medical professionals. And to present the award, I'm very pleased to welcome the College Dean, Professor Simone Darvey. Simone.
Thank you, Adrian. I tried my best with a black tie, but it's difficult to beat you, obviously. So you win that one. It's my absolute pleasure and privilege to present the award for the Psychiatric Educator of the Year. Being a trainer is absolutely integral to our identity as clinical psychiatrists, and the evidence from medical education is quite clear that good feedback and good supervision have the largest effect size in making a difference to the career trajectories of our trainees and our learners. So a big thank you to all our trainers and educators across the country and the world, but especially to our shortlisted nominees, who are Dr. Hannah Kappelman, Dr. Anna Conway-Morris, Dr. Soteris Posporelis, and Dr. Gertie Stegen. And the winner is Dr. Gertie Stegen. Congratulations.
Thank you, Gertie, and really very many congratulations. So Dr. Gertie Stegen is a consultant psychiatrist in medical psychotherapy with a keen interest in cultural issues, language, impact of suicide, and education. She has held formal roles in medical education for over 20 years, stepping away from a long stint as Director of Medical Education this year. She enjoys learning from multidisciplinary colleagues working across all psychiatric and medical specialties. The judges said that Dr. Stegen has demonstrated magnificent versatility as an educator, combining the ability to lead from the top while walking alongside others in their professional and at times personal journeys. Her energy and motivation to see her trainees succeed are remarkable and definitely beyond the call of duty. She's greatly appreciated and valued for her pragmatic approach and was rated first by all the judges. So Gertie, that's a fantastic tribute to you. And I think that the passion that you put into your work comes across very clearly in the judges' comments. So Gertie, over to you to say a few words.
Thank you so much. A passionate thank you. Also, congratulations to everybody else who is a trainer in whichever role you're in. Thank you for contributing. I'm absolutely honored to receive the reward. I accept it also on behalf of all of those who have endured and supported working alongside me in education. I would really want to enthuse everybody to work in education. It's a fascinating and enriching field to work in. It offers ample opportunity to be creative and to help support develop the future workforce. So thank you also to all of those who have helped me along the way to do so. Most of all, I'd really like to thank the many trainees I had the privilege to meet, to work with, to get to know a bit. You are absolutely fabulous, inspiring bunch and fun to work with. Thank you very, very much indeed for allowing me to learn from you and for taking me along the journey for a bit with you. Many thanks indeed.
Thank you so much, Gertie, and thank you so much for all you do. So we'll pause now just briefly for a screenshot photo. Thank you all very much. And the chat function is now apparently working fully, and a bit of controversy. Sachin says that Professor Dave wins the black tie contest. So a bit of competition there. We'll see what others have to say, or maybe there'll be others will come on with new entries as we go along. So our next award is for the Academic Researcher of the Year. And the judges were looking for nominees who had demonstrated skill as a scholar, lecturer, and researcher, mentorship in research and other academic activity. And the award will be presented by Professor Hugo Critchley, Chair of the college's academic faculty. Hugo, over to you.
Thank you, Adrian. Yeah, it's a real pleasure to present this award. Research in psychiatry is obviously incredibly important for enhancing patient care and optimizing the future well-being of the people we serve. It's also incredibly broad because it has to deal with it has to reflect the biological, psychological, sociological determinants of mental health. Over the last couple of years, it's been quite difficult though to pursue because of the COVID pandemic. But nevertheless, we got some excellent nominees. So I'm really grateful to members of the panel, the award panel, for coming to make a very difficult decision between the people nominated. So the nominees are Dr. Graham Murray, Dr. Tim Nicholson, Professor Rohit Shankar, and Dr. Andrew Stanfield. And the winner is Dr. Tim Nicholson.
Welcome, Tim, and many congratulations. I'll just say a few words about your achievement. Dr. Tim Nicholson is a reader in neuropsychiatry at the Institute of Psychiatry, Psychology and Neuroscience at King's College London. He's an honorary consultant neuropsychiatrist at the South London and Maudsley NHS Foundation Trust. His clinical and research work focuses on functional neurological disorder, immunopsychiatry, broader neuropsychiatric disorders, including those resulting from COVID-19. Neuropsychiatrist Dr. Tim Nicholson was recognised by the judging panel for his skill as a scholar and researcher and his outstanding research contributions. In particular, Dr. Nicholson's work continues to improve the understanding of and the care of people with functional neurological disorders. Of global significance, Dr. Nicholson set up a leading study that quantifies the neurological and psychiatric impact of COVID-19. And now, Tim, many congratulations. Over to you for a few words.
Thank you, Adrian. Thank you, the committee. So it's a great honour to receive this, especially when I see the amazing work of the other nominees, Graham, Rohit and Andrew. Their work really illustrates the amazing strength, diversity and health of academic psychiatry in the UK. I'm obviously delighted by this result today, but perhaps equally thrilled today by Dr. Oz's result, as I'm sure many others are today as well. So research is a team sport. So I'm share this really with all the brilliant people I've worked with over the years. I'd quickly like to rattle through a quick list. Susanna Pick and my academic supervisor, mentor, Tony David, for the FND TMS trial and outcome measure work, as well as the international FND COM team. Ben Michael, Jerome Bream, Tom Pollack, Matt Butler, as well as Alan Carson, Eileen Joyce and Mike Dilly from the Faculty of Neuropsychiatry, and the mighty coroner of COVID CNS, Neuropsych COVID and neuropsychiatry.net teams. I'd also like to thank Daniel Mumblet, Paula Williamson, Sarah Gorst, Dale Needham and Nina Salinanova for the long COVID core outcome measure set work. And I'd like to thank all the patients and patient partners I've worked very closely with, and of course, countless clinical colleagues in the Maudsley Neuropsychiatry Service and beyond. Finally, thanks to my wife, Helen, and my family for supporting me and putting up with the unsavory hours and stresses of an academic life. So thank you again.
Thank you so much, Tim, and for reminding us of the strength and depth in our academic community, just amazing. And that work you did during COVID, not over yet. And that was quite extraordinary. So thank you so much. And we'll pause now just for 5 seconds to have a screenshot photo. Thank you very much. So our next award is for the Specialty Doctor or Associate Specialist of the Year. And this was created to recognise the contribution made to mental health services by specialty doctors and associate specialist doctors. In this category, the judges were looking for a specialty doctor or associate specialist doctor who has demonstrated an exceptional level of performance in clinical work, education, leadership and management, research and innovation, as well as working towards establishing parity of esteem between mental and physical health. And this award will be presented by Niraj Berry, the college's Associate Dean for Equivalence. Niraj.
Thank you, Adrian. Thank you for asking me to present this. I think this is one of my favorite awards as it recognizes the work of our SAS doctors who we know are a quiet group and keep on working very hard, not just contributing, making such a significant contribution to delivery of clinical services, but sort of bringing that quality, innovation, and contributing to research and education and leadership. So I think if I can take this opportunity to thank that group as a whole for all the hard work that they do. The nominees for this award are Dr. Karen Collier, Dr. Sridevi Gopi Firth, Dr. Monique Chalais. And the winner is Dr. Monique Chalais. Congratulations.
Well, congratulations, Monique. Very, very well deserved. I'm just going to say a few words about your contribution. So Dr. Monique Chalais is an associate specialist and the clinical lead for Connect, West Yorkshire Adult Eating Disorders Provider Collaborative. Additionally, she is an appraiser, medical educator, and is currently completing a master's degree in healthcare leadership. The panel said that Dr. Chalais is an accomplished clinician, educator, manager, and leader. She works in an innovative and integrated way between the voluntary sector, primary, secondary, and tertiary care in an eating disorder service, for which she is also the clinical lead. She is a respected manager of the service and a mentor and medical appraiser. She won the Health Business Award for Innovation in Mental Health and a regional NHS Parliamentary Award in 2021 in the mental health category for service innovation. As an educator, she delivers multi-professional local and regional teaching and training with excellent feedback. She is an established GMC-approved clinical and educational supervisor for the foundational programme and attracting many into psychiatry. That's quite an amazing CV, Monique. So thank you so much for all you've done. And of course, the work you've done for the college as well. Thank you so much. So over to you for a few words.
Thank you, Adrian. I feel really honoured to receive this award. Firstly, congratulations to my peers who were shortlisted, and in fact to all the award recipients for the difference that you make on a daily basis. As mental health professionals and psychiatrists, we've faced some turbulent times over recent years, and undoubtedly there is more turbulence to come. The impending humanitarian crisis due to the level of fuel poverty affecting half of UK households will require all of us to demonstrate compassionate and collective leadership, because together we can, and arguably we need to be even more creative and innovative to meet the needs, the diverse needs of our patients. And I have to highlight the pivotal role that SAS doctors play every day in doing so. Lastly, and arguably most importantly, my thanks go to all the patients who, over the last 25 years of working in the NHS, have indeed helped to shape and mould me into the psychiatrist that I am today. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Monique, and well said. And just looking at the chat now, and lots of congratulations for you. And I'd like to echo all the comments about the huge contribution of SAS doctors to patient care. And as you said, the role that our patients play in moulding us as the clinicians that we become. So thank you so much. And we'll pause just for a few seconds for a screenshot photograph. Okay, let's move on. Again, even more congratulations going in, Monique, and tributes to the work of SAS doctors generally. So thank you all so much. Thank you, and Niraj as well. Thank you for presenting. So we now move on to the award for the Psychiatric Global Health Contributor of the Year. The judges were looking for an individual or group of individuals who have worked outside the UK and demonstrated significant contribution to the training of trainee psychiatrists or medical professionals, and/or to the development of mental health training or services. And to present the award, I'd like to welcome Dr. Anis Ahmed, Chair of the Volunteering and International Psychiatry Special Interest Group. Anis, over to you.
Thank you, Adrian, giving me the opportunity to announce the award to the shortlisted nominees as well as the winner. But before that, I would like to say a few words why this category is so important. Just over a month ago, Lancet published a landmark paper quantifying the global burden of mental disorders and the economic value. It is estimated that 418 million disability-adjusted life years could be attributable to mental disorders in 2019. And the economic value associated with this burden is estimated at about $5 trillion US. And at a regional level, the losses could amount for between 4% of GDP in Eastern Sub-Saharan Africa and 8% in high-income North America. On that note, I think every little helps. I'm aware as a chair of the RCPsych, there are many jobbing psychiatrists within their constraint contributing to alleviate that burden. But as life goes, I think the judges and judging panel have to select the 3 luckiest one, and the 3 shortlisted nominees are Professor Petrus de Vries, Dr. Peter Hughes, and Severe Mental Illness and European COVID-19 Vaccination Strategies team. And the winner is Professor Petrus de Vries. Congratulations, Professor de Vries. Over to you, Adrian. Thank you.
Petrus, welcome. Thanks for joining us, and many congratulations, richly deserved. And I'm just going to say a few words about you and your contribution. So Petrus de Vries is the Professor of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry and the founding director of the Centre for Autism Research in Africa, otherwise known as CARA, at the University of Cape Town, South Africa. After medical training in South Africa, he moved to the UK to train as a child and adolescent psychiatrist and completed a PhD at the University of Cambridge. He returned to South Africa in 2012. The judges said that Professor Petrus de Vries is a role model for those invested in contributing to global mental health. His international leadership, innovative training to multiple disciplines, productive research associated with expanding the African research base, and his impact on the national and international policies in autism merit his being acknowledged as the RCPsych Global Contributor of the Year. Now, Petrus, if you'd like to say a few words.
Greetings, everyone, from the southern tip of Africa. Adrian, the first thing I need to say, I think your jacket is deserving of a Global Contribution Award in its own right. So you definitely get my vote. Thank you very much. I think, firstly, I'm very impressed that the college has decided to introduce a Global Contributor Award in recognition of the almost 20% of Royal College members who live outside the UK. And I think I'm happy to accept this on behalf of so many global colleagues who make major contributions to psychiatry around the world. So thank you to the college. I think, or I hope, it also signals the college's increased focus on thinking how we, as a Royal College, can make contributions across the globe. I think there are amazing skills, knowledge, and talents in the Royal College of Psychiatrists. And I'd love to think and see how not to recolonize the world, but to build partnerships with colleagues and teams around the world to build a mental health workforce. As you know, and as you've hinted at, the majority of people who live with mental health disorders live in low and middle income countries where there are very limited resources and skills. So thank you again also for acknowledging that part in this award. Just a final comment, a particular thank you to Dr. Catherine Mutisia from Kenya and Dr. Abdul Jallo from Sierra Leone. They were my 2 committee members when I was the chair of the African division. And I know that they were the naughty 2 people who nominated me. So thank you also to you for your contributions and to all people who do lots of international work behind the scenes in and for and with the Royal College. So Adrian, thank you.
Thank you, Petrus, an amazing contribution. And I think, as you've all said, the importance of global psychiatry. And I'd like to thank Anis for the work that you've done on the leadership that you've shown, and also Mohammed Al-Uzri, the presidential lead for international affairs. I think we've got really amazing people involved in this really important work. So thank you to all of you. And we'd just like to pause now for our customary screenshot photo. So. Thank you so much, Petros, and thank you, Anis. So we now move on to the award for the Psychiatrist of the Year. So the judges were looking for a psychiatrist who had made a positive impact on patients' and carers' well-being, raised the positive image of psychiatry, and worked towards achieving parity of esteem between mental and physical health. And to present the award, we welcome Professor J.S. Bamra, one of this year's honorary fellows. J.S., over to you. Fantastic to have you with us.
Thank you very much, Adrian. And you can see that I stand between a cup of tea and this award, and it's a great pleasure really to be here. Congratulations to all so far. And Adrian, have to say, you even got your hair to match your jacket. There's never been a better time to be a psychiatrist. There are strong challenges in store for us, with the likelihood that mental illness and suicides will increase in coming years. And so we all have the chance to make a real difference to patients' lives. So the College Awards are a good incentive, Adrian, for psychiatrists, trainees, SAS, LED, doctors, and other mental health professionals to deliver the best care for our patients, which is what they deserve, and an excellent recognition for not just the winners, but all the participants. So the Psychiatrist of the Year is an exemplar and role model for all that is best, and it is my great pleasure to announce the shortlisted nominees. And the shortlisted nominees are Dr. Ananta Dave, Dr. Afifa Kwazi, and Dr. Indamit Swami. And the winner is Dr. Afifa Kwazi. Congratulations, Dr. Afifa Kwazi.
Well, congratulations, Afifa, and thank you so much for joining, richly deserved in a really very strong field. So I'm just going to say a few words about your contribution and the comments of the judges. So Dr. Afifa Kwazi is a Chief Medical Officer and Consultant in Old Age Psychiatry at Kent and Medway NHS and Social Care Partnership Trust. She is passionate about eradicating health inequalities and actively a champion for people with mental illness, autism, and learning disabilities. A carer quoted, "Afifa is a godsend to my son and has redeemed my faith in humanity." What a thing to say. We'd love that to be said, wouldn't we? That's just amazing. So the judges said that Dr. Kwazi has strongly advocated and championed parity of esteem for mental health in her role as Chief Medical Officer. She is well liked by all who work with her and has clearly demonstrated that she lives the college's values and has made a positive impact to the well-being of patients and carers in Kent. There was a strong field of candidates this year. Dr. Kwazi is a worthy winner of this award. Now, Afifa, over to you. And again, congratulations. What a thing to be said about somebody in their professional life by somebody who, a carer, who this matters so much to. That's what it's all about. Afifa.
Thank you so much, Adrian. I'm really, really honored to receive this award from the college today. And I'm hugely grateful to everybody who has supported me in this journey, all along my journey as a psychiatrist. First, my mum, who is a source of strength and inspiration to me, my dear husband, and my children, who have to put up with long hours of work often and are always there to support me. My loving extended family in Essex and all over the globe, and probably a lot of people who have joined who are today listening to me. I'm grateful to you. And my staff at Kent and Medway Partnership Trust, where I've been working for the last 3 years, where I received such incredible support, which has enabled me and empowered me to deliver this vast amount of work, which has resulted in this award. So this is not me single-handedly winning this award. This win is for all of those people who have been behind me. Thank you so much to all of you. Most importantly, I want to talk about our service users and their loved ones. These people we touch these people's lives, and often at a time of great need, and they deserve nothing but the very best from us, from all of us at all times. And I would want to dedicate my award today to our service users and affirm my commitment of working tirelessly to get the very best for all of them. I feel hugely honored again, Adrian, and my vote for the best jacket goes to you, definitely, without a doubt.
Well, thank you so much, Afifa. That's amazing to hear. So thank you. Although, JS, I think you're slightly wrong. The jacket is majority black, whereas the hair, I'm afraid, is majority grey. Let's not go into that too much. So, Afifa, thank you, and to hear your commitment. You say that you have that commitment going forward, but you've obviously had that commitment throughout the whole of your career. So, a very, very worthy winner, and dedicating it to users and carers, because that's what the college is there for. We are here for those we serve, our users and carers. So thank you so much for that. So just wanted to say we just need to pause now for just 5 seconds for a screenshot photo. Thank you very much. And JS, thank you so much for presenting the award. We are so honoured to have you as an honorary fellow. So thank you for all that you do. So we now have reached the end of the individual awards, and so we'll take a short break. So to begin with, we're going to play this year's Choose Psychiatry film, and then after that, we'll take a proper 10-minute break. I think that probably brings us to about 20 past 3. So watch the film and then put the kettle on, stretch your legs before we move to the final part of our awards ceremony.
My psychiatrist has really helped me deal with my trauma. If it wasn't for her, I don't even want to think where I'd be.
She's given us our life back.
I want to choose psychiatry because I have quite a lot of interests. And I find that psychiatry gives me a unique opportunity because there are so many different areas in psychiatry. You could go into forensic psychiatry, you could go into adult acute, you could be working with children with eating disorders, and I think just that variety means that you're never really bored and you have something that keeps you excited in the career. I think there's always a huge focus in medicine about the patient-doctor relationship, and you're always told that, you know, it's one moment of your life, it's the rest of theirs. But there are very few areas in medicine where that's actually properly captured, where you actually get to see how their life changes as a result of your intervention. And for me, that's one of the most fascinating parts, being able to see that improvement.
My family home was bombed. I was terrified. People were screaming, running for their lives. The bombing was all around us every day. We came to the UK, but in my head, it felt like I was still there. Since a psychiatrist started helping me, I've been feeling a little better each day. He says I'm doing well now, and that I'll recover over time. It's made a big difference.
Being a trainee in psychiatry is brilliant. The core years can have its challenges, but prepares you well for your specialist training. There's different competencies you have to achieve, and they're not always easy. These things take time and practice. After my foundation years, I took a career break to start a family. This became 6 years, and what I found was that psychiatry welcomed me back, and I really appreciate this. And I think this is quite unique to our speciality as well. I'm really excited about becoming a consultant and the platform this will give me to make a change at an organisational level.
I moved back to the city after I split up with my girlfriend, but I couldn't get a job and I didn't have anywhere to live. I got into drugs and yeah, everything just sort of slipped away. But one night I passed out on the street and the police took me in. I ended up being referred to psychiatric services for addiction, and that's when I met her. That's when I met my psychiatrist. She's really worked with me and helped me to understand what was behind the addiction. She's also taught me techniques to help me get through it. I was in a really tough spot, but I'm clean now.
I'm Marcin. My job is to try and make life better for patients with autism. Although it sounds like a cliche, I wake up every morning feeling absolutely excited about being able to see my patients. I'm now a senior specialty doctor, a tutor, educator, assistant medical director. There are so many opportunities. I'd recommend a career in psychiatry because you are not alone like in other specialties. You always have a fantastic team around you. When Jill, my wife, was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, she fell apart. She couldn't see the point of living anymore. It's a death sentence, she'd say. She became depressed and wouldn't eat. It was pretty hard for me too, seeing her like that. Our psychiatrist's been amazing. She tried different approaches and found medication that worked. The dementia's still there, but life's much better. Jill smiles and laughs now. And I feel like I've got my wife back.
I work in neuroscience, which means that my team and I work to try to understand how the brain and the central nervous system work. The work we do in academic psychiatry is particularly important because it can affect the future of the treatments and change possibly the field for the next century. It is an amazing feeling when you do research and you actually manage to find something that will change eventually the life of people who are suffering at the moment. I would recommend everyone to do psychiatry. It's so creative compared to other fields of medicine, such an exciting and rewarding job. Choose
to make a difference.
Choose
psychiatry.
That is an absolutely amazing film. Thank you to everybody that was involved in that. And who wouldn't want to choose psychiatry after seeing that? I think it really does bring home the reality, the passion of doing of psychiatry and all the rewards it can bring. Also the challenges, and that's all part of it. So thank you for watching that. We will have a break now for 10 minutes. I make it 15:12, so we'll start again sharp at 15:22. So see you then. So a very big welcome back to our award ceremony. I hope you managed a break and to top up your refreshments, whatever kind they are. So keep the comments going in the chat, and we'll move on to the next 6 presentations that recognise the excellent work done by multidisciplinary teams working in mental health. So in the next categories, the judges were looking for teams that demonstrate service development, redesign, or quality improvement with excellent leadership, teamwork, and effective use of resources. So to begin with, we will start with the Psychiatric Team of the Year for a team working with children and adolescents, and the award is to be presented by Dr. Elaine Lockhart, Chair of the Child and Adolescent Faculty. Elaine, over to you.
Thank you, Adrian, and it's been truly inspiring hearing about the fabulous work colleagues have been doing in the earlier categories. And I'm particularly delighted to see our colleague John Golden being awarded the Communicator of the Year. So many congratulations to John. Through his work and from others, you will all be aware that children and young people have been having a tough time with their mental health over the past few years. And those of us working in services have seen an increase, not just in the number of referrals, but also in the acuity and severity of presentations. So colleagues have been really up against it, trying to meet that need. So in looking at the entries for this award, it was impressive and inspiring to see how colleagues are continuing not just to provide services, but seeking to be creative, to be resilient, and to think about how to innovate and even improve further what we do offer. So it was a pleasure to judge the entries, which were of high quality, and I am delighted to let you know about the 3 shortlisted teams. And they were Devon CAMS Assertive Outreach, Children and Family Health Devon, National and Specialist OCD, BDD and Related Disorders Clinic, South London and Mausley NHS Foundation Trust, Northwest London Forensic CAMS Community Team, West London NHS Trust. And the winner is Devon CAMS Outreach. Congratulations.
Very many congratulations to Devon CAMS Assertive Outreach, which is an innovative, flexible and dedicated team offering an intensive wraparound support to supplement usual CAMS, enabling them to keep people rooted in their communities whilst continuing to receive treatment for severe and complex mental illness. This means that they can avoid admissions far away from home, maintaining community and family relationships while still achieving good recovery. The judges were impressed with the winning team, which showed creativity and resilience during a time of upheaval and increased demand on services. Their patient-centered approach enhanced the clinical care of the most vulnerable children and young people in their area. They demonstrated the added value of collaborating with other services, bringing the voice of young people into service development and reducing the number of patients needing inpatient admission. And now I believe we have a representative from the team who would like to say a few words. Over to you.
Thank you, and hello everyone. We really want to say how grateful and honoured we are to have been given this award from the Royal College. It means a huge amount to the team, and I'm incredibly proud of the fantastic work they do. We're a diverse and creative team who always go above and beyond to support the young people we work with, focusing on holistic needs of the child and family at the centre of our work, and it's wonderful that we can celebrate our successes with you all today. We're really grateful for the support we've had from our wider organisations in Devon within which we sit, and from our fantastic colleagues in rebuilding the team over the past 2 years, despite the unprecedented pressures all services have experienced over this time. Ultimately, what we'd really like to celebrate is that we have been able to support more children to remain at home for their care while they can recover within their community and family relationships and move forward in their lives. So a big thank you to the team and well done to everyone here today.
But we can hear you all from I'm in London at the moment. I can hear the whole team. They're that enthusiastic. So thank you so much for joining us from Devon. Of course, I'm a Devon psychiatrist. I have to remain neutral in these things, but it is great to hear Devon getting an award. And so thank you all so much for the work that you do. And I don't think we've actually got you on camera here, at least I can't see you. So I don't know that we can pause for a screenshot, but thank you all so much for joining, and thank you for the work that you do. Have we got the team on? Have we?
Yeah, we're here. Let's see if we can get us all in.
Oh, there we are. Oh, well, there we go. Look. Oh,
Can you see?
So we're just
what happened.
Technological skills. And we'll just pause for just a couple of seconds to get a screenshot. So here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Hey,
Well, that's fantastic. Thank you all so much. And actually, I'd like to say a big shout out to the services in Devon and people like me and all the people like Elaine. And when we're representing the college, we rely upon our local teams to support us. So a big thank you to all teams throughout the United Kingdom, across the world, who support people taking on those other roles. But particularly a big congratulations to the Devon CAMHS Assertive Outreach team. You've never been more needed than in the current time. So thank you so much. Elaine, thanks so much for presenting the award. And again, thanks for all you do. Okay, well, sadly, it's we say goodbye to Devon, but back to the awards. So our next award is for the Psychiatric Team of the Year, Working Age Adults. And as before, the judges were looking for an exceptional team, and this time that improves services for working age adults. And the award is to be presented by none other Professor Sir Simon Wesley, past president of the college. Simon, over to you.
Thank you very much. Wonderful to see you again, the man who gets all his shirts from Oxfam. The well scrubbed up Adrian, you're on mute, James. Now, I'm actually at the Victory Services Club this afternoon, which is an ex-service persons club at Hyde Park, which is fitting because, of course, we're 2 days away from Remembrance Day. And it's also fitting because it's a club that was set up in 1945 to celebrate victory. And we're here to decide who's going to be victorious today in this particular award. I'd love to say that everyone's going to be a winner, but that's obviously completely untrue. Only one of you will be. So the nominees are, here we are, the Isle of Wight. The Isle of Wight Community Mental Health Services Trusts from the Isle of Wight. There's a surprise. The Mental Health Intervention Support Team, Cheshire and Wirral Partnership, NHS Trusts, and finally the Solihull Early Intervention, Birmingham Solihull Mental Health Foundation Trust as well. So 3 of them. So ready to cue the canned laughter and cheers as I announce the winner. And the winner is, it's the Solihull Early Intervention Service from Birmingham Solihull Foundation Trust. Okay, back to the man in the black suit.
So thank you so much, Simon, and congratulations to the Solihull Early Intervention Service. So worthy congratulations again in a strong field. So the Solihull Early Intervention Service is a service for people who are experiencing a first episode of psychosis aged 14 to 65, and for those aged 14 to 35 who are at risk of developing psychosis. The service is a multidisciplinary team consisting of doctors, nurses, psychologists, support workers, occupational therapists, a health instructor, admin, and external partners. The judges were impressed with the Solihull team's innovation in providing patients who have psychosis with a wide span of therapeutic opportunities. These include the availability of CBT, the family therapy, an emphasis on physical health, and for social recovery in the form of employment and education. This includes patients having access to their own allotment or a physical health instructor. The service has also made improvements to the staff experience, and with low sickness rate, low staff turnover, and high retention. Amazing. The team is a worthy winner of this award. And now I'm going to hand over to a member of the team. Erin, is that you? Over to you to say a few words.
Hi, yes, thanks, Adrian. I'm hoping you can hear me. Well, listen, I'm really honoured to receive this award on behalf of our team. Unfortunately, I'm not there with the team. They're all back in the base at Solihull. I'm here in London. But I've worked with so many teams throughout my career, some really good teams, but I have to say this team has got something really special. If I had to use 3 words about the team to describe them, they would be compassion, dedication, ambition. Compassion not only to patients and their families, but to each other. Dedication exemplified through the pandemic. They really go the extra mile. And ambition, because I think as a team, we're never willing to sit in our laurels. We're always looking for ways to improve our service to give the very best to our patients. However, I think it's fair to say that partly we have achieved so highly because we're well resourced. And this is just a plea to the college to advocate for our colleagues in community care who aren't so well resourced. So thank you to the college for this award and for a very inspiring afternoon. This is a very special and proud moment, not only for our team, but for Birmingham and Solihull Mental Health Trust. And just to finish, Adrian, I think you have got the best jacket, but I think you could probably rock sequins. So maybe that's something for next year.
Well, what a suggestion. Who knows? I mean, I don't know what I'm going to be doing come July of next year. So who knows? So Erin, thank you so much. I think we've got the whole team there as well, haven't we? I can see them on screen. So I don't know how easy this is going to be. So congratulations to all of you, and richly deserved. So we are going to pause just for a screenshot, just so we can all be in the photograph. So here we go. Great. Well, thank you all very much. And Simon, thank you so much. And thank you for reminding us about the importance of Remembrance Sunday, and important that our thoughts are with everybody that's been affected by war. So thank you. Okay, our next award is the Psychiatric Team of the Year, Older Adults. And the judges were looking for quality teamwork to improve psychiatric services and care for older adults. And to present this award, we're delighted to welcome Manny Krishnan, Chair of the Old Age Faculty. Manny, over to you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Adrian. It's a great honor to present this award for the Psychiatric Team of the Year in Older Adults. I'm sure we know over the last couple of years, our older adults suffered in many ways, including the pandemic, isolation, shielding. Now they are going to be suffering even further with cost of living and energy crisis. But having said that, like the video we saw where our teams brought Smile to Jill and Jim, we've got people across the country making our patients smile and laugh with improvements in their mental well-being. So it is a team effort, and we've got great 3 teams who are shortlisted for the Team of the Year. The shortlisted teams are the Castleside Inpatient Unit at the Cumbria, Northumberland, Tyne and Wear NHS Foundation Trust, the Memory Clinic, North Staffordshire Combined NHS Trust, Mental Health Services for Older People, Inpatient Organic Service, TCS Canvia Valleys NHS Foundation Trust. And the winner is, it's the Memory Clinic at the Staffordshire Combined NHS Trust. Congratulations to the Memory Clinic team.
Well, thanks, Krish, and congratulations to the Memory Clinic team, again, richly deserved. So the Memory Clinic is a dedicated diagnostic and assessment memory service for people over the age of 60 in North Staffordshire. They operate out of 2 bases and provide satellite clinics and home visits to ensure all can access our services regardless of their location or physical ability. They are proud to work as a truly multidisciplinary team. The judges said, we were very impressed by the innovative approach of a service redesign taken by the Memory Service, resulting in impressive outcomes and feedback from staff and patients without any additional costs involved. So now over to the team. I see they've appeared on screen. So we've got a a representative who's just going to say a few words. Many congratulations to all of you, and thank you to all of you for all you do.
Thank you, Adrian. Thank you, Krish, and thank you to the college. I think it's fair to say we're feeling fairly humbled this afternoon, having listened to some incredible nominations from individuals and teams throughout the country. As you said, Adrian, our service improvement was a real team effort. And of course, I mean everybody that works in the memory clinic, but also those colleagues who perhaps don't always get the same recognition. So colleagues who've helped us from data and finance and costing, who helped us get a real evidence base and really gave us the confidence to push through with the changes, even at times when, you know, sometimes it's easier to just go back to how you've always done things. So we're a small representative of a much bigger team here today. But I know when we take the trophy and certificate back to base, I can speak on behalf of all of the team and say we are truly honoured and thrilled to have received this award today. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, and lots of comments in the chat congratulating you, and richly deserved. So we will pause just for a brief screenshot photo. Thank you all so much. And a late entry into the DJ award, and Krish looking pretty stylish there, really. And so I think you know, could be. I think the odds are you know, are still open. So we'll see. So let's move on. Thank you again so much to the team for joining us. So our next team award is for a specialist mental health team working in intellectual disability, and the Psychiatric Team of the Year, Intellectual Disability. So the judges were looking for an exceptional and innovative team with a focus on intellectual disability. The award will be presented by Dr. John Mitchell, an advisor to the Scottish Government and World Health Organization, who in 2021 was awarded a CPE and a President's Medal. And John, we're honoured to have you with us, and thank you for your huge contribution, coming back in COVID as well, to provide great leadership in Scotland. So good to have you with us. So over to you.
Thanks very much, President. I too am honoured to present this award and to be at this inspiring meeting with so many fantastic people and fantastic teams. I think the award in intellectual disability, the team award, really matters because intellectual disability services, for me, embody and champion principles that I think are at the heart of psychiatry: respect, non-discrimination, equality, and enduring care and treatment. The optimization of people's lives requires consideration, obviously, of mental, physical, and social health, as well as seeing the individual and their human rights. And I think this is at the centre of intellectual disability, but really is really what we are about generally as a college. So I'm delighted to say that the shortlisted nominees are Havering Adult Community Learning Disability Team at North East London Foundation Trust, the Intensive Health Outreach Team at Gloucestershire Health and Care NHS Foundation Trust, and the Learning Disabilities Care Hub, which is at the Pennine Care NHS Foundation Trust. So I'm delighted to announce that the winner of this category is Havering Adult Community Learning Disability Team, North East London Foundation Trust. So my hearty congratulations to you all. Back to you, Adrian.
Well, thanks so much, John, and congratulations to the Havering team. And I think there we can see a wonderful photograph, and I think joining us, I hope, as well. So I'm just going to say a few words. So the Havering Learning Disability Team is an integrated team consisting of social workers, care assessors from social care and learning disability nurses, psychiatrists, psychologists, behaviour therapists, an art therapist, a physio, speech and language therapist, and occupational therapist. The multidisciplinary team always has the client at the forefront of everything they do. They are always looking for the best approach for the client and their care is always compassionate and individual for each client's needs. The judges said that the Havering Community Learning Disability team are worthy winners of the prize of Team of the Year. The team encompasses the best in clinical practice with clear evidence of service innovation and quality improvement initiatives to enhance outcomes for people with intellectual disabilities. It's a multidisciplinary team taking a holistic approach to supporting people with intellectual disability in the community, in line with the current national policy that is inspirational in what it can be achieved within existing resources. And now I see the team have joined us. I'll hand over to a representative of the team to say a few words. Many congratulations.
Just want to say absolutely thank you so much. I just want to accept this award on behalf of our team. It is a very small team in Havering, which is the London Borough. And this team is an amazing team. They put the learning disability team at the heart of what they do, and they so deserve this. So thank you all very much. And we have a few representatives here, so thank you.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for joining us. And it's a small team, but big service delivery. So what could be better than that? So thank you all so much. We'll pause for just a couple of seconds just for a screenshot photograph. So if as many of you can get into the screen as possible, that's great. It may be the other side, actually. Yeah, that might be an idea. Fantastic. I think that's all of you there. Right. Okay. Briefly, 1, 2, 3. Fantastic. Thank you all so much. And John, great to see you. John, bringing joy to the world and one of our great teams. So thank you so much for joining us, and best of luck in all you're doing. So we now move on to the next award, which is for the Psychiatric Team of the Year, Quality Improvement. So in this category, the judges were looking for an exceptional team that had made a positive change to services by using quality improvement approaches. And the award will be presented by Paul Rees, our Chief Executive. And Paul, great to have you joining us. And again, thank you to you and the team for all the fantastic work that you do for our members, but even more importantly for patients. So great to have you with us.
Thank you so much, Adrian. And it's a pleasure to be here. Good afternoon, everyone. Now, as you may know, Adrian actually is my boss. So I'm going to play it safe and say that I think his jacket looks absolutely wonderful. Now, I'm absolutely delighted to be presenting the 2022 Quality Improvement Team Award. Now, as you'll know, quality improvement aims to improve the quality of care delivered to patients by bridging the gap between best practice and the routine delivery of care. Quality improvement is a systematic way to tackle complex problems. It's continuous, it's always evolving, and it's about engaging people at all levels. Now, the RCPsych, with various work streams designed to promote quality improvement across mental health services, including our quality improvement collaboratives and the work of our College Centre for Quality Improvement, otherwise known as CCQI. So we're always delighted to learn about the great work that teams are doing across the country to systematically improve the quality of their patient care. So the shortlisted nominees for the Quality Improvement Team Award are the Adult Mental Health WHSCT Western Health and Social Care Trust, Hackney Integrated Learning Disability Service East London NHS Foundation Trust, Morrison Ward East London NHS Foundation Trust, and Nursing and Quality Continuous Improvement and Ward Teams Lancashire and South Cumbria NHS Foundation Trust. And the winner is the Adult Mental Health WHSCT Western Health and Social Care Trust.
Thank you, Paul. And I think, again, the team are joining us from Northern Ireland, worthy winners, big congratulations. So this Northern Ireland team based in the Western Trust addressed the lack of local standardisation in the assessment practices and documentation within the community mental health team. The team is comprised of the medical, nursing, occupational health, social work, ICT and management staff, and importantly, the Western Trust service user consultant. The team leads are Dr. Chris Sharkey and Lorna Ackroyd. The judges noted that this was an extremely competitive category with fantastic examples of quality improvement. The winning team picked that post for their rigorous QI methodology, wide stakeholder engagement, and excellent results. So congratulations to the team joining us there live. Thanks for joining us, and over to you to say a few words of acceptance.
Thank you, Adrian and Paul. Hopefully you can hear me okay. Greetings from Northern Ireland. My name's Chris Sharkey and I'm one of the leads and a general adult psychiatrist. I'd like to just thank the other core members of the team that are with me here: Lorna Ackroyd, Mark Mooney, Nuala Campbell, Nadine Moore, Michaela McCauley, and our service user consultant Brian Toner isn't with us today, but he would like to have been. I'd also like to acknowledge our peers across the UK who were shortlisted for this award. It was a privilege for us to be shortlisted, and it really was humbling for us to win. Our project looked to standardise the assessment process in our adult community mental health teams, and it's important for me to recognise that this award really was only possible because of regionally developed templates that were co-produced by professionals and service users across Northern Ireland. And Martina McCafferty is currently spearheading that, and this is one document that we used as just one example of the hard work going on across Northern Ireland at the minute. So thank you to Martina and Eilish and the team who continue to work hard to improve services across Northern Ireland. Finally, I just want to thank my own mentors within the Western Trust and our local QI department who were really essential. They champion quality improvement locally, and also our previous and current chief executive within the West who have always endorsed and prioritised quality improvement and parity of esteem for our faculty. So thank you again. Thank you to the college and greetings from your colleagues in Northern Ireland. Thank you.
Great. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Lots of congratulations in the chat, and we'll pause just for a couple of seconds just for a screenshot photo. Well, thank you all very much, and Paul, thank you so much for joining. And of course, Paul is an award winner himself, because last week, Paul, you went to Buckingham Palace and you received your MBE from Princess Anne, also one of our honorary fellows. So quite a moment, I'm sure, and many congratulations, and again, richly deserved. And thank you so much for all you do and all the team do. So thank you.
Thanks very much, Adrian.
Okay, well, let's move on to our final team award for 2022. And this is the award for the Psychiatric Team of the Year, Outstanding Commitment to Sustainability and Green Care. And this was created in partnership with the Centre for Sustainable Healthcare to recognise the work that demonstrates an understanding of the connection between healthcare and the environment. And the judges were looking for a team demonstrating improvement in environmental sustainability, combined with improvement in quality of patient care, with excellent leadership, teamwork, and effective use of resources. And to present this award, we welcome back our registrar, Trudy Senavaratna. Trudy, over to you.
Adrian, thank you so much. And what an amazing day of awards for everybody. But by no means least, I'm absolutely delighted to be presenting this award at the eve, of course, of the COP27 summit about to start in Egypt. So to the Psychiatric Team of the Year for outstanding commitment to sustainability and green care. So as you'll know, humanity is part of the natural world, and we absolutely have a responsibility as to look after the creatures and habitats that make up our ecosystems. We have a responsibility as both the College of Psychiatrists and as psychiatrists. And we know that the disruption to life that's posed by the climate and ecological crisis is unprecedented to humans. To promote this, we know that we need immediate and radical change. And the college, as you'll know, has in fact declared a climate and ecological emergency. But we need to keep thinking about this, keep thinking about the impact on people's mental health, about how we truly develop sustainable services and practices, and what more we can do to prevent future harm as the world moves forwards. It's not easy. I'm really delighted that so many teams are working to tackle this important crisis. But in particular, we have some fantastic shortlisted teams today. So the shortlisted nominees for this award are Future NHS Green Minds Project in Cumbria, Northumberland, Tyne and Wear NHS Foundation Trust, and Gardening for Health, Better Lives, Eagle Recovery, St Mary's, Secret Garden, Camden and Islington NHS Foundation Trust. I'm absolutely delighted to announce that the winner is the Gardening for Health, Better Lives, Eagle Recovery, St Mary's Secret Garden, Camden and Islington NHS Trust. A huge congratulations.
Many congratulations and thanks, Trudy, and the team are joining us again today from just up the road. So just like to say a big congratulations to you all. Great to hear about the fantastic work that you're doing. So the Better Lives Substance Misuse Services partnered with Eagle Recovery Project, a peer-led abstinence focus group, to create a horticultural therapy project professionally facilitated by St Mary's Secret Garden. The group created the garden using mainly upcycled and donated materials and now run sessions to promote abstinence and provide service users opportunities for exercise, skills building, and nature connection. The review panel said, "This is a moving, thoughtful, and inspiring project. It embodies many of the key values of sustainability, showcasing the central role of nature as a core element of mental health care. Moreover, its innovative collaboration with the third sector to support some of the most marginalised groups demonstrates how progress must be made collaboratively, highlighting the need to move beyond silos. The successful funding application granted to the project further shows the focus, imagination, and motivation needed to create such amazing work." So congratulations, richly deserved. And all over to you. Actually, you're in the garden as well, which is even better. So over to you, and congratulations. You're going to say a few words. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, Adrian, and thank you, Trudy. And also just as comment and say thank you to all the colleges doing currently on sustainability and seeing it as central to mental health care. That's really appreciated and really noticeable during your presidency as well. Thank you for that. So yes, as you say, we've decided to accept the award from the garden, and so there might be some teeth chattering and shivering that goes on. It's quite it's in the gloaming as well. And aircraft as well. Yes, sorry about that. We just also to note the work that Green Minds have done as well, our co-nominee for the award, and linking up mental health care trusts on sustainability issues and getting us all to put our heads together about that. I think they're doing really excellent work too. So congratulations to them. Just a few thank yous from supporters of the project. So for Peter Kane, Rory McCallion, Gillian Peterson, Liz McGrath, for helping support the project from the CNI side, to Maxine and John, who are with me here from Eagle Recovery, who we've partnered with for the project, and also from Liam and Siobhan from St Mary's Secret Garden, who couldn't be with us today, but who've been running the project on the Fridays, and also to all the participants who have taken part and kept the garden alive through a very, very hot and dry summer as well. Just overall, we're hoping that our project can be a template for others. It's quite small scale, but it's replicable, it's cheap, really high value, has incredible impact on people's nature connectedness and their well-being in general. And we hope it can just provide an opportunity for people to replicate in their own places of work. So here's to many more growing seasons, and thank you very much for the college for this award.
Thank you so much for joining us, and again, lots of congratulations in the chat and highlighting the importance of this area. And the whole purpose of these awards is that people will learn from each other, people will inspire others to say, well, if they can do it, maybe we can do it as well. So thank you so much for that inspiration as well. We'll pause briefly for a screenshot photo. Okay, well, thank you very much. And we now move on to today's final award. And I'm absolutely delighted to announce that the Royal College of Psychiatrists Lifetime Achievement Award for 2022 is to be presented to Lord John Alderdice. And let's have a look at the work that he's done.
I have met Lord Alderdice through my work in Northern Ireland. This led to a number of very exciting projects, including establishment of the Centre for Democracy and Peace Building, our work together on a number of outstanding issues of the Irish peace process.
I've known John Alderdice for many years. He and I are both Liberal politicians, both of us now in the House of Lords, but our paths have crossed many times in different parts of the liberal world.
I have known John for more than 20 years. We have started to work together under the umbrella of International Dialogue Initiative, which was founded by Professor Valmuk Volkan and John Alderdice together.
I happen to know Lord Alderdice as he is the director of the Centre for the Resolution of Intractable Conflict at Oxford University, and I'm a visiting senior research fellow there.
I first met John during his early years in psychiatry while he was still a trainee psychiatrist at Belfast City Hospital and also a tutor within the professorial unit, so our friendship goes back quite a long way.
And it was through David that I got to know John. And I greatly admired the work that John had been doing, so I invited him to set up an institute in the college, and he became, and still is, a senior research fellow of the college.
And perhaps when I reflect on it, his strongest quality is the art of listening.
John has the most amazing qualities of silence and a body language that always shows he's listening and understanding, and the ability to ask the absolute pertinent questions. That is not a trait you find in many politicians.
He is someone who is a very inspiring person who, although he's extremely busy, he is somehow able to get engaged in many worthwhile pursuits. And to that extent, I find him to be a very inspiring person.
He was elected to the ruling council of Northern Ireland's Alliance Party, a party committed to reconciliation and community integration. And while still in his training years, he became that party's leader.
Although he's incredibly busy, achieving many things, he always finds time to help other people achieve their goals too.
I believe that Lord Alderdice will be most remembered for bringing people together, giving people hope, convening difficult conversations, and driving change.
The one thing I have learned from John is that it is always better to discuss, to listen, to try and reach out to opponents, even if you disagree with them.
Based on his extensive contribution to a sustainable peace environment and his support for the researchers all around the world who is working on political psychology, I think he deserves this achievement award the most.
In more recent times, I believe that Lord Alderdice has made a tremendous contribution to conflict resolution between various groups in different parts of the world through promoting a sense of mutual understanding between different groups.
His peace-building work within Ireland's civil conflict is something he will be remembered for by the people of the island of Ireland.
Lord Alderdice brought psychiatry into so many different disciplines which normally would not be associated with psychiatry. He brought the care of the entire human being, of the psychological needs of us into disciplines such as conflict resolution, peace building, politics.
What people won't know about are the many places where he has been called behind the scenes to help resolve conflicts. I know of them occasionally because I talk to politicians in other countries. Those countries may know and remember him. We never hear of it.
Besides his knowledge and experience in peace processes, he is an influential leader for all of us who has been working on peace processes all around the world.
I believe that Lord Allardyce is extremely deserving of this Lifetime Achievement Award because he is somebody who has not just remained in the academic ivory tower but has been extremely active in applying his insights from his professional discipline into trying to resolve real-world problems.
He has brought and continues to bring his personal insights from psychiatry and psychotherapy to many areas and regions caught up in civil conflict.
Sometimes even without their knowledge, during the times of turmoil and uncertainty, bring reassurance, bring hope, bring joy to those around them.
When I was assigned as a Wiseman Committee member by the Turkish government for Kurdish peace process, John encouraged me to do the work properly, keep calm under huge political pressure.
I would say that I see his use of psychiatric skills in an incredibly difficult field of conflict resolution.
I believe Lord Allardyce has been effectively applying his insights into psychiatry to very practical real-world problems. In particular, his understanding of large group psychology is very important.
Of a lifetime of great commitment, creativity and leadership are acknowledged by his alma mater, the Royal College of Psychiatrists, and by their awarding him the 2022 Lifetime Achievement Award.
John's personality is a perfect match of intelligence, intellectual capacity, and a good heart, which you can very rarely find in today's world.
John's work, whether public or private, has been absolutely outstanding. As one of the people who understands much of the private work he does in conflict resolution, I believe that alone makes him a very worthy recipient of the Lifetime Achievement Award.
I believe that Lord Allardyce models for me the way to do that and the importance of being able to do that. And I think this is an extremely important attribute if one talks about how to resolve seemingly intractable conflicts between different groups of people, for example. So this is what I think I've learned from Lord Allardyce.
And I'd just like to thank you for giving him this award, because it will not only make his family very happy, but all of us who count ourselves as his friends feel very happy too.
Well, it's just fantastic to see the contribution that John has made, both in terms of psychiatry, but in the political world and in bringing peace to so many parts of the world. So many congratulations, John. And to present the Lifetime Achievement Award for 2022, I'm delighted to welcome Professor Femi Oyebode, Honorary Professor of Psychiatry at the University of Birmingham and a previous recipient of our Lifetime Achievement Award. Femi, over to you.
Thank you very much, Adrian. It's a great honor, great privilege, and I feel very, very humble to be presenting this award to Lord Allardyce. I mean, this Lifetime Achievement Award for John Allardyce reflects contributions over a lifetime. It signals outstanding work, extraordinary gifts and exemplary imagination, and the ability to use human relationships to effect change. It gives me, as I've said, great pleasure and a sense of true honor and privilege to present the Lifetime Achievement Award to John Allardyce. He's a distinguished psychiatrist, as we've heard, and a remarkable politician whose contributions to the life of the nation, indeed to our world, is truly inspiring. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Femi, and for those wise words, as always. And I'm going to interview John, and but before we do, if we can just pause for a screenshot photograph to mark the moment. So just a brief pause, and John showing us the Lifetime Achievement Award. Fantastic. Well, thank you so much, and thank you, Femi, for joining us. And so I'm going to interview you for a few minutes. I know that people will want to hear some of the background and your own thoughts and feelings on some of the things that have happened and your huge contribution to all of those things. And you honour us by accepting this award, which is richly deserved. Your huge contribution in the two careers that you've had, both as a psychiatrist and medical psychotherapist, but also as a politician who will always be remembered for your contribution to bringing to an end what was seen by many as being an intractable conflict, and not only doing that, as others have said in the video, of sustaining the resolution, and that's often even more difficult. So I just want to start from the beginning. Tell us about your upbringing and your early time as a child.
Well, my father was a Presbyterian minister, so don't expect short answers from me, because there's a genetic element to that. But anyway, I had the great honour and privilege of being brought up by two loving parents who encouraged me to think about things and indeed to challenge and argue and debate. And that was a wonderful preparation, not just for politics, but also for an approach to psychiatry that asked serious questions. But because it was a loving and caring environment with two sisters and a brother, all of us working together and enjoying each other's company, it gave me a marvelous foundation for the whole of the rest of my life and the other relationships that were important for me much later on. I met my wife when we were both at school. We started going out together, and we're still very much together and happily married with our 4 children, who are themselves all up and married too. So that background of church life, of involvement with youth organizations, of an encouragement to make a contribution to society and to see what you could do to help contribute to people who were in difficulties. Those were not things that were taught to us by being told to do them, but by watching the example of our parents, working hard, busily with people, not seeing themselves as 9 to 5 people, but rather those whose whole lives were committed to the issues that were important to them. So that's what I find myself doing. Quite naturally so. But I was troubled growing up, because as I was coming into my teens, things were breaking down into violence in Northern Ireland. And I tried to read a lot about it and see, well, why was this happening? And the political science explanations didn't satisfy me, because they were all about rational self-interest and so on. And it seemed to me there was nothing rational about this. And that's why I sought out psychiatry, actually, because I wanted to understand why people behaved in ways that were not rational and were very self-damaging to each other. It led me to medicine, to psychiatry, and indeed to psychoanalysis. And really that's what I've been following up for the whole of the rest of my time.
So that was your pathway into psychiatry, and people will know a lot about your work as a politician, but tell us about your work as a medical psychotherapist. What was that like, and what sort of service did you run?
Well, I was very fortunate, because just at the stage when I was wanting to do this, a psychoanalyst, a very distinguished psychoanalyst from Scotland, Tom Freeman, who had worked much of his life with Anna Freud, had also been very interesting because he applied psychoanalysis to very disturbed people, patients with serious psychoses. He came back to Northern Ireland for family reasons. And I wrote to him and I said, look, I'd like to come into analysis. And he said, well, go away and get your Royal College membership first. And then if you're still interested, then come back. But go get your tickets, your professional tickets. So I did. And as soon as I got them as quickly as I could. And I came back and I said, right, I've got them. Now can I come into analysis? He says, okay, let's do that. And I went into analysis 5 times a week. And that enabled me to develop my approach. Now, I have to tell you, at the start, I was a bit anxious about combining that with politics. I was afraid that my professional colleagues, maybe particularly my analytic colleagues, would say, well, this is acting out, you know, he can't just stick with the clinic and do the sensible, important work. And actually, that wasn't what happened. There was an enormous encouragement from colleagues, whether it was Professor Roy McClelland, whom you saw in the video, or his predecessor, George Fenton, a professor of mental health, or Dr. Claire Adams, who I worked with, or people like Fred Brown and Philip McGarry, who led the college in Northern Ireland, or indeed yourself and some of your predecessors as presidents and senior officers. And I want to say to young psychiatrists, and it's very humbling to see the wonderful crop of young psychiatrists that are coming forward and being honoured today. Don't be afraid that your colleagues won't support you in venturing out and doing new things and challenging things. Of course, there are always going to be some who will be a bit rivalrous and difficult, but the vast majority, I have found it, have been hugely encouraging. And could I say to older psychiatrist colleagues, never underestimate the importance and impact of encouraging young colleagues. It was that kind of encouragement that enabled me to go on to develop a psychotherapy service, which there hadn't been in Northern Ireland before, a service that was analytic, CBT, family therapy, group work, and indeed, importantly, in my view, the use of the arts, art itself, music, drama, all of these are ways. One of my old teachers, Tom Freeman, used to say, it's so difficult to get people better, John, that any arrow you can put in your therapeutic quiver is well worth having. And that's the truth. So we developed a service with all sorts of elements, and it continues on, which is a great source of satisfaction to me.
Well, that's great to hear about that, setting up the service, and again, that it's been sustained. That's so important. And so it's a big decision to suddenly go into politics, and often once you've got into it, it becomes irresistible. So what was that moment where you said, that's what I'm going to do? Was it about an issue? Was it about a particular set of circumstances? What was it that you said, that's what I'm going to do?
Well, from a relatively early stage, early in my teens, breaking down, I came to the conclusion that I did want to change things, and that meant that I would try to get involved. But I was coming from it with I thought, a very sensible head, and I said, oh, well, there's no money for a politician like me. If I was on one side or the other, well, that would be fine. There'd be a profession, and there'd be payment, and it would be able to manage. Somebody in the centre ground, that's not going to be possible. So I'd be very sensible. I'll have a career in psychiatry. I learn what I can. And then when I come to early retirement, because of course in those days you could retire at the age of 55 without any reduction in your pension, and then I'll go into politics. But when I went into analysis and I started to explore what was going on, I came to the realization, and I can remember it very well one day, when I began to realize actually all of that was a resistance to the anxiety I had about going into politics and failing, going in and finding it was a very difficult, troubled place to be, possibly even a violent place. Maybe there would be personal threats to my own safety and that of my family, that actually I was worried about that. But if I wanted to achieve what I'd set out to do, I had to get involved, not leave it till later in life, but throw myself into it at an early stage. And so that's what I did. And what I was wanting to do was to take our psychiatric understanding of individuals, small groups, families, and large groups, and to try to apply that understanding to resolving violent political conflict in my own part of the world and subsequently in other places. And that's really what I've devoted myself to.
So you were conscious at the time that you were applying your psychiatric skills. Reference was made in the video, I think, by a couple of the contributors. They saw that, but you were conscious that you were doing that as well.
Oh, absolutely so. I mean, in the analysis, for example, of the problem, I was looking at it from a systemic point of view because of the family therapy work I've been doing. I was looking at Northern Ireland as essentially a kind of almost orphan child of a rape, where you had these two parents who had been damaging to each other and left this damaged child, when I was trying to work with individuals who were politicians and who you could easily find yourself getting angry with. You know, Dr. Paisley would be saying something and you'd start to respond to it. And then you think, wait a minute, he in his very personality is representing the community he comes from. I need to understand that. Meeting with Martin McGuinness and realizing that the aggression that I could feel there, which was a passive aggression, very different from Dr. Paisley's, but nevertheless was representing the community that felt hurt and damaged and was responding by being hurting and damaging. But the solution to that was not merely to disagree and reprove. Or the time when I got elected to Belfast City Council and I was approached by a member of Sinn Féin who wanted to shake hands. I knew he was involved in the IRA. You didn't shake hands with somebody like that who had, quotes, blood on their hands. And I thought, no, wait a minute. Whatever the mixed motives, this is another human being that I have to try to find a way of engaging with if we're going to find a solution to the problem. Or sitting in the speaker's chair and feeling what was going on as a resonance of what was going on in the community outside, thinking of the psychological elements of the individuals who were there, where they came from, how they were responding, and how that related to the wider community and what we could do. So the whole time, one was trying to work at all the different levels that you and I and other psychiatrists and psychotherapists work at all the time, with families, with individuals, and indeed, often with our institutions and wards and clinics, where we have to understand these things too. So it wasn't just useful, it was the whole way of thinking about things.
You mentioned some of the personalities involved, and you worked with some extraordinary individuals, and people will know the picture of you with Bill Clinton. And who are the people that stood out for you in trying to resolve the conflict and bring people together to the resolution that was the Good Friday Agreement?
Well, Bill Clinton was and is, but was himself a remarkable president, because unlike previous presidents who tended to side with one side or the other, he was the first that really understood that in a conflict like ours, or indeed in the Middle East, where he was also involved, if you get involved with supporting one side or the other, and it's very tempting because you nearly always feel more empathy with one side or the other, then you just become part of the problem. It's fair enough, of course, but you don't actually begin to change it. But what he did was to see that both sides, indeed one might say all sides, have their own psychopathology, their own challenge and difficulty, their own contribution to make and journey to follow. And he engaged with them in a remarkably nuanced way. And of course, that was a guide for me as I got involved in conflicts in other places, that when I would go into them, for example, in the Middle East, where I continue to do work, you instinctively feel more attracted for one side or the other. And then you realize that's the danger. I'm here to think about the disturbed historic relationship that John Golden was talking earlier on about, the centrality of relationships in psychiatry. And that's the key in solving conflicts. You need to work with the relationship problems rather than simply one side or the other. So Bill Clinton was a remarkable person. Of course, people like Ian Paisley and Martin McGuinness were extraordinary, and they were challenging people, and they were bright and they were powerful, but they were also human beings who, when you find a way of engaging with them in a fashion that showed your concern, respect, sensitivity, preparedness to be fair to them, I found it was entirely possible to work with them. And of course, people like David Trimble and John Hume, Nobel Prize winners together subsequently, bringing their own challenges and difficulties, suffering a great deal psychologically from the pressures that they were going through, but nevertheless coming out in the end to do something really good and great for the. I've been a really lucky boy, because I've been able to engage with all sorts of fascinating people and learn something from all of them.
And so you became the first Speaker of the Northern Ireland Assembly, a role that you will always be remembered for. And so you've already spoken about not trying to take sides, and you had a job to do to bring everybody together and get the job done for the people of Northern Ireland. What was that like?
Well, as I kind of look back on things, I think that probably was the piece of work that I'm most proud of and that I felt most useful in doing. Because I remember Paul Murphy, who was the minister responsible for political development, saying, John, here's a flimsy, and it was just a little document. These are the only rules we've got. For goodness sake, please try to keep it from collapsing too quickly. And so the job was to try to engage people from all sides, to help them to be respectful of people that they didn't like at all and that had probably threatened their own lives, not by instructing them, but by being an example to them, to be respectful to them. I remember on one occasion, for example, Ian Paisley Jr. Was being a bit difficult. And he was raising all sorts of problems. And I was thinking, what's going on with Ian Jr. at the moment? I'm going to have to throw him out if he keeps behaving in this kind of way. And then I realized, of course, that's exactly what had happened with Betty Boothroyd and his father. And of course, if he was going to be as good a man as his father, he needed to have the same thing happen to him in the assembly. So I thought, well, we'll pick a suitable time then for that. So one, I think it was maybe a Thursday afternoon, he was doing these kinds of things. And I explained to him, Mr. Paisley, you know, the member will understand I can't allow things to continue in this way, and I'll have to ask him to leave the assembly if he continues. So, of course, predictably, he did do it again. And I said, well, I'm afraid I have to ask the member to leave the assembly for the day. The next day I came in, and on my desk there was a little letter. So I opened it up and it said, "Dear Mr. Speaker, thank you for throwing me out in such a nice way." So, and in a sense, that was the key thing, to find all sorts of little ways in which you could build a relationship with the different people who represented in their very personality elements of the communities that had elected them, with all their traumas and challenges and difficulties, but all of them human beings representing human beings and wanting a sense of hope for their own future and that of their children and grandchildren.
John, just a couple more questions, a couple I can't resist. You've already spoken about applying your psychiatric skills within politics. People would look at politics and say, well, we need more of that. You know, you make it sound quite easy. Of course, it isn't. Nobody thinks that it is. But if there is anybody watching this who is thinking of a career in politics, what's your advice to them?
Well, the first thing is that we need good people in politics, but it's a pretty tough business. And it's not just tough for you, it's tough for your partner, your spouse, your family. And my wife, Joan, and our children, Stephen, Peter, and Joanna, had to be careful about themselves and go through difficult times. And of course, lots of times when I wasn't around very much. So if you're going into it, it's enormously challenging. It's also, as you said at an earlier stage, pretty seductive, that once you get in, it grabs hold of you, and there's no end of things that you can be doing. So you want to commit yourself to it, that's fine, but realize the size of the commitment. The second thing is, it's not just about what you say, it's about who you are and how you are, your way of being in the world and establishing relationships. The third thing to say is, the bit that people see, making speeches and getting involved, is a very small component of the work of being a politician, whether it's in terms of constituency work or managing your political colleagues or running part of the party or raising funds, never the most glamorous part of the business. But there is also a tremendous sense of satisfaction that you're doing something to serve the people. Politicians get a bad name, and some politicians do things that deserve it. But in the way that you go about your business, you can make a difference. I was just briefly watching, in fact, my wife Joan called me in to just watch Prime Minister's Questions for a few minutes today with the new Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak. And she remarked, isn't it interesting? There's a calmness about question time now that's quite different from the way it was before. Not because he's given instructions, but because in his personality, he impacts what is happening around him in the chamber. And in that situation, and for the moment, impacts it in a positive kind of way. And I think that's the most important part of it. Of course, what you believe is important to stick with. Without that, you're anchorless. But your own relationships and the relationships of the people you work with and those you serve will not be easy, but they are what life and politics is about.
So I expect everybody watching this to be looking at their pathway into politics as well, so you can make a huge difference. And finally, John, you set up in 2013, the Centre for the Resolution of Intractable Conflict. I know it's a terribly simplistic question. I've already apologised to you earlier for asking it, but what have you learned about resolving conflict that you think are the key issues?
Everywhere I've gone, not just in Northern Ireland, but in conflicts all around the world, there are three things that I have always found in every single one of them. The first thing is that there is at least one and nearly often more than one community of people that feels humiliated and disrespected. And it's not a question of whether they've got money or whether they don't have money. It's that sense of being dismissed, disregarded, and humiliated. The second is that I've always found a sense of unfairness, deep unfairness, felt inside. It's not an intellectual question. Again, there are sometimes people who don't have so much money as the people next door, but they don't necessarily feel it unfair because they say those people have better education, those people have better opportunities. But when the education is improved and still the opportunities don't come, then people say that's unfair. And the third thing is that when those two things have existed, people often try to peacefully and democratically make change. And where that doesn't work, when it's frustrated, when it's not possible, you have the context for an outbreak and the continuation of serious politically motivated violence. To deal with that, you have to, in a sense, simply reverse it. Start treating the people respectfully, giving them their place. They may do things that make you feel like not treating them respectfully, but you've got to hold to behaving with respect for people who do things that make you not want to respect. Secondly, working towards a more fair outcome for people. People talk a lot about equality. The truth is equality can never be achieved. But what can be achieved is fairness. And people know that and they want that. And the third thing is the political structures of peaceful democratic politics. If you open the door for people who have been involved in violence to move through to a peaceful democratic way of achieving their aims, they don't need to continue with the violence and you can wean them away from it. But you do have to give them the opportunity of another way.
John, that's fantastic. I really do feel that it's been a privilege really to be given a masterclass really in politics and conflict resolution from one who really knows, not only can talk the talk, but has in so many ways walked the walk and has achieved so much. So John, thank you again for joining us today. Many congratulations. We're really honoured that you are an honorary fellow as well and a member of our profession. And I know that Joan has joined us today as well. So Joan, thank you for joining us and thank you for all that you've done, as John said, and many other people have said throughout this ceremony, that we all rely upon people to support us and to guide us. So thank you so much, Joan, as well. So congratulations, John, and thank you for all you have done and continue to do. And I know that the job is not over by any means, and we'll need wise people who are prepared to commit themselves and take risks in order to resolve other conflicts that are there currently and will arise.
Thank you very much indeed, Adrian. The honour and privilege is entirely mine, and I appreciate the honour that you and colleagues have done me. And congratulations too on your own time as president of the college. You've done a great deal during some very tough and difficult times, tough practically as well as politically. So thank you, and well done on your own time as president.
Great. Well, thank you. That's humbling to hear that from somebody I hold in such high regard. So that concludes our ceremony. No better way of concluding it than that. I'd like to say again, a congratulations to all our award winners, all those who were nominated. Just a fantastic showcase of everything that's good about mental health. I'd like to thank our presenters as well for all their support and joining us today. Thank you to others and people who posted things in the chat. Thank you for joining in, and a big thank you to our college staff. Big thank you to Paul, but the team who put this together, particularly Richard, Devon and Pippa, but a whole team at the college. So thank you all very much. I'm sure the celebrations will continue, and enjoy the rest of your evening. Thanks for joining us.